Okay, guys, well, after last week's hail, many of us have had to get in touch with our insurance agents. And if you've noticed your insurance rates are going up, you're not alone. But don't worry, there are ways to offset the price hikes by spring cleaning your insurance policy. And that's why we want to welcome Danny's husband, Nate Sturges, our insurance expert, and their dog, Schnaps, the insurance schnauzer. Yes. Nate, it's so good to see you. How are you?
Thanks for having us, Claudia.
Yeah. You busy right now?
Oh, we're so busy right now.
Yeah.
The hailstorms last week, they did
been
toll.
So bad for so many people. I mean, now this here, Nate, insurance rates rising, and that is the concern with a lot of people. Why is that happening?
Yes, and unfortunately, it's something that we're seeing just across the industry, and there are definitely quite a few reasons that we are seeing these increases, but the majority, or the major reasons that we're seeing them are just the increase of severity and frequency of these natural disasters that we're having. The increase in fires that we're seeing, like the fire of last year in 2021, the hailstorms like we saw last week, those all play a part and role in terms of how much the insurance company has to pay out at the end of the day. So the increased cost of claims have definitely risen. Additionally, we're seeing the new technologies in the vehicles, the parking sensors, the blind spot monitors, things of that nature. Those are all a lot more expensive to fix than the typical bumper that we were seeing back in the 80s and 90s. So, so that's definitely causing a big drive. And then the recent inflation that we've seen over the past 2 years has also increased cost of goods, cost of labor, and therefore insurance.
You're absolutely right. One of my good friends is an adjuster. He's been going everywhere lately. I don't think he's been home in a long time. So you're right. There's so much happening that it's not just in Colorado. These price hikes are pretty much being seen everywhere because, again, natural disasters have been just happening over and over. Here's the question of the hour, though. Is there a way to spring clean our policies to kind of offset those price hikes?
Yes, absolutely. So typically, we always recommend meeting with your insurance agent to discuss what options will be best for you. When we're sitting down with our clients, what we're looking for are, do we have any optional coverages on the policy that we may not need? Do those optional coverages still work with your lifestyle, or have things since changed? Deductibles are another big thing that we like to review with our clients. Typically, as we have working clients, you know, maybe they can afford to pay a little bit of a higher deductible, which will in turn kind of help lower their premium. But always just making sure you have the correct coverages on there. What we don't want to do is take off a big coverage that might save you some premium in the short term, but
later on might bite you in the butt because you're like, oh my God, I got rid of it. And just when you do that is when it happens, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What are some common things people have on their policies that they might not absolutely need?
Yeah, so we see two big things that typically could potentially be removed from someone's policies. On the auto insurance side, rental car reimbursement is a big one. Let's say you have 2 cars in your household, or potentially 3 cars. That can potentially save you $100, $200 a year by removing a coverage to offset that rental car coverage. Another thing that we see is identity theft coverage. That is something that is provided by a lot of credit cards and a lot of banks. So obviously, before removing any coverages, you want to check to make sure that you are properly insured if you do want to do that. Double coverage is definitely something that we see frequently, and being able to, remove those to make sure that we're getting the lowest premium possible is something that we do.
Okay, see, those are all really valid points, especially the rental car. I think I have that. See, but we do need to take the time to go over our policies and say, am I paying for everything that I need, or can the price be dropped a little bit? We just need to take the time and do that, or talk to our agent. What are things on the policies that are must-haves, Nate? Like maybe situations you see all the time that you're like, oh, you needed that.
Yes, absolutely. So in the state of Colorado, we are required to have auto insurance to drive our vehicles. But what we do see is sometimes clients will come in with a little bit lower auto coverage. They're right at that state minimum, which is legally the requirement that we need. But at the end of the day, that's potentially not going to be enough coverage if you do end up in a serious accident. So making sure that we have the correct auto coverage is a big one. And then in terms of your home, making sure that we're protecting the biggest asset that most people purchase, their home. In the event of a hailstorm like we've seen with the massive hail that's been coming this year, the fires, personal property potentially being stolen. There's a lot of things that are encompassed in a home policy, and I mean, to that point, the liability coverage within a home policy is something that is sometimes overlooked by a lot of people, just because you don't expect someone to come on your property and slip and fall, but it happens.
But it happens, and you would know that it does happen. Yes. Well, Nate, thank you so much for being with us today. I think Schnapsies has left.
Yes, she's running around.
She saw Danny. That's what happened. She saw her mama and she had to go. So thank you again so much for being with us today, Nate. It's a pleasure to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And here is some info on how to get a hold of Nate and his team. Now, insurance can be confusing. If you have more questions for Nate, just email him at nsturgis@farmersagent.com. You can also give his office a call. That number is 720-307-6129.